Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome again to another live this morning. Hope you're having a good start to your day today. You've had your vitamin C, your coffee. I was reading this morning that good morning, George and Nativity and Lee, good morning. My wife accuses me, B. And how are you? Dion. Or no, B. I think that is your name, right? Not, last name would be Dion. Okay, I don't know. Good morning to you. I was reading a study this morning on coffee. Of course, I'm always looking for positive studies, and they did analysis of 40 studies on coffee. Fantastic. And I've been telling you, that's the true vitamin C. You want your vitamin C? Take it in coffee. 40 studies showed that your all-cause mortality is down by 25% when you drink coffee. Sandy, good morning to you. Sherry and Mike, Elizabeth, Jerry in Nouveau Brunswick, and Beth and Jeanette, good morning to our staff, Laurie and Bernice, Keith, Annette, bonjour from Nouveau Brunswick, Linda, boy, can I say this name right? Dubraka. I probably murdered that name, but sorry, Dubraka. I love you anyways, okay? Lucy and Nick and Jean and Suzanne and Steph and Pat and Debbie and Yolande, Dorothy, Sarah, and the rest of you guys, I promise I'll go and say hi to you afterwards, okay? Hazel, how are you? Mary, so many right across North America, actually around the world, okay? And we appreciate that very much. Now, today I want to talk to you about your attitude. Stinking thinking. I want to talk to you about your attitude. Are you a person that sees the glass half full or half empty? Anyways, the reason I want to talk to you about it is because there was a pretty big study of 2.5 million Americans, okay? And attitude matters. Attitude matters. Now, probably tomorrow, I'm going to do one on, this came out yesterday. The headline is this: the pandemic takes its toll. And we're going to talk about that. A couple of new, just observations in both the United Kingdom and the United States, okay? And two major articles, one by the National Public Radio. I remember being on that years, National Public Radio in the States. I was on that, being interviewed one time on chronic fatigue syndrome. I remember they had another doctor on there. I mean, guys, this is 30 years ago. But I remember what that doctor, it was incredible. He said, chronic fatigue syndrome is a figment of Dr. Martin's imagination. That was the last time I was on National Public Radio in the United States. I'd written a book on chronic fatigue syndrome, The Modern Woman's Curse. And they had it was sort of a little bit of a debate format. They didn't tell me that ahead of time. But you know what I called that doctor? A dinosaur. I said, read. You're not reading. Oh, women, they're just making it up, he said. It's all in their head. Oh, you should have seen me. You should have seen my blood pressure go up. And anyway. But there was a study, we'll do this tomorrow, about the National Public Radio survey in the United States, and then the Daily Mail in the United Kingdom. You'll find this fascinating. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But today I want to talk about your attitude. Because 2.5 million Americans, they did a survey, and they looked at studies, and attitude is not everything, but it's something. And guys, I know I'm preaching to the choir, so we know what the benefits are of healthy eating. We talked about vitamin C, coffee. We know the benefits. We know the benefits of vitamin E, exercise. We know the benefits of vitamin S, sleep. We know the benefits of vitamin D. We know those benefits. But you know I'm big on vitamin A, the invisible mask. You get vitamin A when you eat vitamin S, steak. Okay? But there's another vitamin A, and that's your attitude. And we'll touch more on it tomorrow, but as we look at these two major surveys that were done in the United States and the UK, they surveyed doctors. And unbelievable what's happening in North America and even in the United Kingdom post-lockdown. Anyway, we'll get to that tomorrow, because it really is appropriate, because it'll bring out some things that we can, you can use personally. But attitude, they're saying, okay, so if you have a good attitude, you know what? I'll tell you what your attitude is if you ever want to know. The Bible talks about it. The book of Proverbs says it. As a man thinketh, so he is. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. If you want to know what your attitude is, ask somebody that knows you very well. Like, what comes out of your mouth? That's in your heart. And if you're a pessimist and you're a complainer, and listen, I got to be careful, okay? Because I'm a very optimistic person. I really am. But COVID has sort of changed my personality. I'm a people guy. I am. My wife laughs at me because she always says, you always want to go hug people. Well, I said, like, if I go to Costco here, okay, everybody's got a stinking mask on. They can't recognize each other. You don't know if someone's happy or sad or, ooh, I can't handle that. I'm a lovey-dovey kind of guy. My patients, ask them. And I like to hey, how are you, man? And of course, another thing, my wife laughs at me. Okay, I'm going to show you. Everything I wear has got Martin Clinic on it. I'm a comfy guy. These are comfortable. I love my t-shirts. My wife wants to throw them out. I like them. They're comfortable. She said, I bet you your underwear are Martin Clinic too. Like everything's Martin Clinic. I got my hoodies, Martin Clinic. My toque, it's been cool, okay? I like going for a walk, so I put my toque on. Martin Clinic on the top. I'm always advertising. But people don't recognize me. I got a mask on. Oh, I hope it ends one of these years anyway. But guys, attitude, they're showing. Okay, let me just life satisfaction, and this is the survey. 2.5 million Americans. Life satisfaction and positive attitude equals unique predictors of disease. Greater sense of well-being and happiness makes it more likely to engage in healthy behavior. You see, it's important. Like, attitude's not everything, okay? Because, guys, you know me, I've always said this. Exercise doesn't trump a bad diet. Supplements don't trump a bad diet. And an attitude won't trump a bad diet. So put it into perspective. I'm not saying that attitude is everything, but it's something. And look, you know, I don't know what you've been through in your life, and, you know, you don't know what I've been through in my life. I do a lot of counseling. And a lot of people got a lot of baggage and a lot of hurts and a lot of stuff, and it can really, really affect them. But what they're saying is, in this study, is it really does have an effect on your health. It really does. And not so much that, and look, it does have an effect on your hormones, and we know about dopamine and serotonin and whatever. But it's more that people with a brighter outlook on life are the ones who will take care of themselves better. That's really what the study was saying. It's just that attitude translates into action. As a man thinketh, so he is. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. It will affect your heart too. But look, guys, you know, and I've seen this. With cancer. Okay? Is attitude everything? No, it's not. Okay? So it helps, but it's not everything. Like, if you got a roaring cancer, I've seen some people the most optimistic. I always tell people, look, you know, like, my protocol for cancer is, number one, I tell them, look, you're in for the fight of your life. Just understand that. And some people don't want to fight. I said, well, you ain't ever going to win if you don't want to fight. So I said, you got to have that. And if you decide, you know, on any kind of alternative treatment, you're really in for a fight, because you probably have to have a fight with your family and friends and people that care for you. But if they don't understand what you're doing, it's hard. It's not easy, because you got a war with them too. But I tell them that, number one. And then, like, of course, I'm my number one thing. Cancer, heart disease, you know, diabetes, or what? It's food. Did you take your meds today? An insurance person asked me yesterday, Dr. Martin, do you take any meds? Yeah. Eggs, meat, and cheese. She laughed. I said, that's my medication. Eggs, meat, and cheese. Did you take your meds today? I had bacon and eggs and sausages this morning. I got my medication this morning. Anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, anti-cardio, anti-Alzheimer's. I took all that medication this morning. Eggs, meat, and cheese. And coffee, of course. Vitamin C. So, it's important. I'm very thankful, by the way. One of the ways, guys, to have a good attitude, okay? Just want to give you, hey, I took enough human psychology in university just to be dangerous, okay? Good night. I have a brother, an older brother, that's a psychologist. He's a very smart guy. You know, every once in a while I like to pick his brain. But here's what I learned in psychology. Psychology 101. Be thankful. Practice it. Try and be content. Not easy, is it? Especially in the world we live in. Because we live and we're bombarded today with social media and CNN and whatever, right? Like, be careful. Don't watch too much of that. News they're negative. They hardly ever tell you anything good. They want to give you the count. Every day the count on COVID. It can get you pretty depressed. I don't know what people were expecting with COVID. But I always have to check my attitude because I got to remind myself. The Bible tells me to be godliness with contentment is great gain. The Apostle Paul said, I learned the secret of contentment. In spite of circumstances. That's not easy. But just check your thinking, guys. You start getting in that negative, well, give your head a shake. Start to be thankful for what you have, your family and friends and your health, if you have that. I'm telling you. I'm so thankful, that I got good health. I hurt my knee the other day. Well, maybe a couple of weeks ago, Like, just because I'm overdoing it at 68 years old, still playing slow pitch. Even in COVID, there was a little bit of a slow pitch league it was a fall league. And I can't help myself. I love playing ball, okay? Even at 68. And I try and play with the kids. Kids. 40-year-olds. And you know what? I just, I did a little bit too much and I irritated a knee. And I couldn't walk for a few days. And I had to check my attitude. Because I get, I like walking. I love moving. I do weights in the gym, I do weights. I love doing that stuff, but I couldn't do any legs, obviously. My knee was bugging me. But I am very thankful, guys, okay? And you be thankful too. Now, here's another thing I learned in human psychology. In what year was it? 70? Maybe 71? I remember I can see it today in my notes. I can still see it in my notes today in my head when the way I don't know if you knew this or not, but I write, I love writing, okay? I can't type anything. I make notes, okay? See these yellow things? They drive my wife crazy because I got a lot of them. But I love making notes. That's how I learned. I learned that in when I got to university. I took notes and then I would rewrite them, and when I learned by writing. I don't know about you, but I do. I literally remember this because I wrote it down, and I remember just sort of underlining it. It takes 3 weeks to form a habit. Gyms are full in January and empty in February because people don't form habits. Why did I go 30 days on the reset? 3 weeks to form a habit and then some. I want to enforce it. It takes 3 weeks. Here's the second line that I wrote back in those days. It takes 6 weeks to enforce that habit. Double the time. Oh, Dr. Martin, I hate drinking water. I know. But it's going to take you 3 weeks. You have to trust me for 3 weeks. And then you will like water. I promise. Oh, Dr. Martin, I can't drink coffee without sugar. I know. I get it. 3 weeks. And then you won't even like it anymore, sugar. You'll like coffee, but not with sugar in it. I told you the story, I think last week, I just repeat it. My grandmother, my grandma, she used to make percolated coffee. Oh, I love that. So did my mom, by the way. Oh, just the smell of it, even as a kid, when it was percolating. But I had to put 4 sugars in it for me to drink a coffee when I was about 13 or 14, probably even younger than that. I made a syrup out of it with milk, cream, I think. You know what? Today you can't even go near my coffee with even a little teensy bit. If I was on an island, dying of thirst, you couldn't give me a soda. You couldn't give me a coffee with any sugar in it. I don't like it. I can't stand it. What happened? Well, I formed a new habit. And a lot of people are so stuck in their ways. I used to ask Nick or Jeanette. Okay, they worked with me for years. And they were kind of, sometimes they get, well, why didn't you really talk to that patient? I said, they weren't listening. I love them, but I can't go home with them. They weren't listening. They thought I was going to give them something that was easy. It's not easy. I said, you're a junk eater. Put your name up. My name is Susie, and I'm a carboholic. As soon as I would start showing them their insulin, and sometimes I would see sugar right in their urine or whatever. I said, well, look, you're already on, you hit the iceberg on the Titanic. Here's a lifeboat. And you could see it. Their eyes would glass over. And I could read people pretty good. And I said, well, okay. Like I just didn't, I didn't want to force the issue. Look, it's not a pill you need. It's a change. And you better change your attitude. Because if you don't, I can't help you. And look, I'm very sympathetic. I mean it. I'm very sympathetic. I'm a people person. I love people. But, you can't help everyone. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. But human psychology is 3 weeks. 6 weeks to cement that habit. And I'm preaching to the choir this morning, but I'm just encouraging you. And imagine the medical world is looking at attitude. I don't think they ever looked at it before. And a huge study, 2.5 million Americans. If you implement changes, it's amazing. And having a good attitude will help you to implement changes. Now, for the sake of repetition, I just want to remind you of the 3 Ds. I'm trying to think of what book I first put that in. Probably on The New Thin You. See that book up here? The New Thin You. That's an old book. I wrote that 20-something years ago. But I talked about the 3 Ds. Desire. It starts there. Desire is in here. You know what? I'm changing. Right? I've worked with a lot of addicts over the years. And I'm telling you, there's very few addicts, whether it be with drugs or food or alcohol. There's very few addicts that don't have a desire to get better. Most of them have so much regret. They have a desire to get better, but you need more than that. That's only 1 D. It's only 1 D. Desire, you have it up here saying, you know what, I got to do better. I know this is killing me. This is killing my relationships. It's killing my family. It's killing. And they regret what they're doing. That's up in the head, but you better transfer that D 18 inches to your heart. And you better be second D is determination. And I've seen it. I've seen it with addicts. I've seen it with people who come in. And I'm telling you, superstars who were terrible leaders, very unhealthy. I mean, from high blood pressure to high inflammation, diabetics, addicts on food. They were food addicts, carboholics. And they transferred the desire to the heart, and that's determination. Now they said it. This is it. I talked to a cancer patient the other day. I said, man, my protocol for cancer is very simple. It's not complicated. But you better do it. And don't negotiate. Cancer, you don't negotiate with cancer. It's a terrorist. What do I mean by that? Well, you can't have any sugar. None. Nada. Zero. Why? Because you have cancer. Well, why, doc? Because cancer needs sugar. Cancer needs sugar. Don't let anybody tell you that's not true. It's absolutely true. Cancer needs fuel. So don't negotiate. You got cancer. Don't negotiate. I tell my resetters, I don't negotiate with resetters. Don't negotiate with me. It's eggs, meat, and cheese. For 30 days. Don't negotiate. I won't negotiate. I tell my cancer patients, don't negotiate with cancer. Because they hate that cancer's trying to kill you. Don't negotiate with it. Oh, doc, maybe I'll just have a little bit of sugar. No, don't have any. You'll get used to it. Cancer can't live without fuel. It can't. It needs fuel. And it only likes one fuel. It's called sugar. If you don't believe me, check out a PET scan at your local hospital, cancer center. It's not for your pets. It's a cancer test. And they give you a cup of radioactive sugar. It'll go right to your cancer cells. Whoop! And you light up like a Christmas tree. So don't negotiate with cancer. That's what I tell people. I said, okay, there's 1D. 1D is okay. It's all right. It's a good D, desire. You got to start with that. Any change you make in your life, well, you need a desire to do it. You have to say, I got the information and now I got it. Don't have to be complicated. Any attitude change. It starts in the brain, but you better transfer it. Determination. And now what's the next D? You've heard me say this before. Discipline. Self-control. The third D. What's the difference between determination and discipline? Well, discipline is, determination is a mindset. But discipline is every day. Every day, discipline is learning to say no. Hardest words in the English language. No. How do you like that for human psychology? That's what I learned in university. I only got through 101. It was the only course that we had to take on psychology. But I remember, I underlined those things and I made it for me. The best teaching is you teach yourself first and then you can teach others, right? I got it. And I've been doing this for years. And this is why, for years I did a lot of motivational speaking. Of course, I do it every day now. I see myself as a motivator. But guys, that's what it takes. A change in that attitude. I know most of you. The ones who've been on with me for a long time. You got a great attitude. I love that. I love that. But I just wanted to reinforce that. Reinforce it. This study came out and I said, wow. Wow. It just confirms what I've always said. Okay. Now, Friday, of course, is question and answer Friday. So send in your questions. Okay, don't be shy. I scroll down after the show usually when I have time, and I go in and say hi to the folks that I haven't said hi to, or I just give you a like or whatever. I don't know what I do. But tomorrow I'm planning on doing that, the pandemic stress is taking its toll. We'll look at that tomorrow. Okay. Share this with your friends. We appreciate it. To our over 60,000 people who follow us on Facebook, thank you very much. It's you guys. You're the one who makes this a success. And the podcast. We appreciate that. We really do. And we love you dearly. So have a great day. Talk to you soon.